What's going on, guys? It's me, Shugashu. We are back with another UmaMusume video. This video, we are going to be training Wedding Curren for the upcoming League of Heroes. And, yeah, that is pretty much the plan for this video. Just the usual training while going over the comments. For the setup, pretty much the same setup we've been using for leaders. Teo and Almondai for speed. Borrowing the Aston Machan. Guts card, Casino Drive, Friend card, Forever Young, Wise card, and Tamamo Power card. And that is pretty... oh, yeah, I did that. And that is pretty much it for the setup. So, with that being said, we're going to get started with the run. Before we get started with the run and go over the comments, if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below. I actually don't know who else I would train that's an actual short distance. I could just go back and retrain everyone again, but there are the options so that aren't normally short distance Umas, aka Kita, aka Cap, that I've still yet to train for the scenario. Or not for the scenario, for the prep for the League of Heroes. So maybe now, do I want to prioritize a bond or the other thing? I think we'll prioritize the little scenario gimmick. At least that's what I've been doing the whole time. Because I don't know, it's just how I've approached it. Whether if it's the right approach or not, I haven't said it before, but that is usually the approach I take for this scenario. Normally I do focus on bonds, which I feel like I should. That's what my gut says. But there has been random moments where I did get, what was it, goods? And evaluations in the scenario, and was like, So maybe I'll hold off. Maybe I'll hold off and maybe focus on the other stuff than the bonds. But spent more time on NTE like I wanted. Can't progress in the story currently because I am I guess the only way to say it is that I am I need to reach a certain level. I was trying to find a way to say it like in a different way, but I just need to reach a certain player level, count level. What do they call it there? Hunter level? Whatever they call it there. I need to get to like Hunter level 24. I think it was 24. Yeah, 24. But honestly, playing the story, just playing the game in general. Honestly, I think the animations are better than what I think it is, what I originally thought, I guess. It's no Wua, I'll say that, but it definitely still looks really darn nice. And then back with like the whole driving thing, like I said, I think it's just more of a me being picky when I was just trying to find something to say about, something bad about it to complain about. But like I said, the more I played, the more I got used to like the little wonkiness of the driving sometimes, but it's like I said, it could just be the fact that I'm still driving the first car you buy. It could literally just be that. It could literally just be that. As simple as that. But other than that, I've been having a fun time, just trying to go through the game. Story has been, I wouldn't say anything serious has happened. Like something that should be happening with it. Oh, I guess something did now. Where I am at least, something did happen. But it's like probably just the very beginning of the actual what's of the story, maybe. I don't know. I still need to get to level 24 and continue the story. I guess based off that, you can tell where I am in the game if you're that far, if you're as far as I am in the game so far. I also like how their gotcha system looks. Um, from what it looks like, it just looks like your typical gotcha system. I think it's 1600, just like Hoyo with and Kuro with Uwa. Um, I think at 70, because I'm just noticing this off the standard banner. At 70, in the board game, I guess, essentially, because that's what they base their gotcha off, I guess. Or at least they designed it around a board game. Um, it like I don't know how to describe it. It turned gold, like the animations and all that, whatever, from whatever original color it was. And I did get like a pop up that was talking about the increase rate for reaching a certain point. I was just trying to see if I could get my another standard banner pull before the guaranteed at 90, but I haven't done it yet. And the only reason why I haven't done it yet is because I don't want to use my currency just in case if the next banner is Hotori, so I will just use what I have for now. Oh, and I figured out who the one wing chick, and it is Hathor. The other, she is the one that I thought about getting originally before Jiyuan, but I ended up picking up Jiyuan. So I might. I don't know what I was gonna say there about my. I just need to see. I want to see who I get for my guaranteed in the standard banner. I just hope it's not Jiyuan because then I'll just end up getting a dupe and it's gonna be there like, man, that wasn't the plan. You know, I didn't unlock dates, which is not ideal in my opinion. In my opinion, not ideal. Should just do this and hope. Maybe just hope I get wise training. If not, I'll just rest. But yeah, just like what I've been saying the whole time about NT since actually playing it. Um, yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it for what it has right now. I'll know eventually, obviously, eventually they'll have more to do, but for what they have right now, I'd say it's pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. I actually don't know how much they put in the game, but I mean, so far from what I've played, it feels like they've put a decent amount of story already, because there's also a few or a couple of side stories or character stories. And then, like I mentioned yesterday, what I normally do in the beginning of these types of gotchas is if I do want to play it a little bit more, I'll actually do like the side missions. I believe they're blue here in NT. Kind of like basically like the blue side missions in Genshin. I think in most games they're blue for like the side quests. So I'll eventually stop not do them probably by next year. If I'm gonna be honest. If I'm gonna be honest, I feel like that's gonna be the case. Next year in like the second, I guess normally I'd say region, but I'm not sure how NTE works. Second city, maybe? The second city makes sense. I feel like the whole like city setting of NT also it's like a whole mix of different places. Whether if it's like parts of the city or like how there's like different gangs and all that or factions, however you want to call it. Kind of like I guess the mafia or something. Right? In a way? In a way. And then I swear I've seen at least a few JoJo references in the game so far. One of them was like, or two of them was pretty dead obvious. But I guess you'd only notice if you watch JoJo's. But regardless, I just found it funny. I just found it funny. Also, there's like a whole part in was it story or was it a side story? I don't know if it was a character story or the main story, but there was like a whole part. I think it was a side story, but it was like a whole part where I guess the only way I could describe it was the rooms or the rooms were moving like the walls were moving like the Infinity Castle, I guess, in a way. Demon Slayer. You know, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. I'm trying to see what else I can talk about NT, because that was the main thing I did on my free time. Oh, and also there's gonna be another video today. I know, random, but that's because it's like literally a week later. From when, is it a week later since I posted the story video or whatever? A week or so. I just want to. It's just gonna be like a short, like 8-minute video. It's pretty much the after story, or the iMyth after story. Oh, 71. Should I just do it? I should just do it. I'm gonna just do it. And it's pretty nice. A nice short and sweet, like kind of like catching up, but mainly just a reunion between. Do I want to talk more? I guess it doesn't matter. I guess spoiler alert. I think I should have said that earlier, but regardless, basically reunion after everything that's happened in the stories. After that's happened, everything after that's happened in the story so far in Lahai Roy. But other than that, I think I should go over the comments because it looks like there's a good amount. I don't know if there's a good amount of replies for a specific comment, but regardless, we are pretty far in the training, about halfway in already. So I'd say this would be a good time to start going over the comments. And I did take a quick look over it, and just like the past few videos, before going over Nova's comments, I'm gonna go over the other person's comments, and in this case it's gonna be Tanoki. So Tanoki's first comment says, I think I had one typo, or a typo, for one of the entries. I wouldn't know. Could it be the plus one or the minus one? I there was one that I did mention that was different than the others, so it could be that one. But the first number is plus or minus deviation from the expected value. Most of it was minus. Yes, it was. Second number is the number of copies I actually got. What did I say yesterday? Did I say it was the first number was the copies you got? Or did I say that was the second number? I don't remember what I said yesterday, so I'm not going to say that. I said that, so I don't know what I said. So it is what it is for me. I might have said that was the amount that you have gotten, because I remember one of your one of the numbers was 7, and that's what kind of made me feel that way. Well, regardless, I'm not gonna say that I said it or not, because I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. And then the last comment from Tanoki says, not sure if my last comment got yeeted. I never got power to Mamo past 0 LB because Tucker 3 LB requirement. Okay, so that might clarify how your comment went in yesterday. And that's probably how I should have understood your comments. Oh, you actually had more comments in the last video. Oh, but it came I think, I don't know how much later from when I. Oh yeah, I think it definitely came later than when I recorded, because From when I'm recording now, the comment was 14 hours ago, and 14 hours ago was 14 hours or 10 hours, 10 hours after I recorded the video, I would say yesterday. So I'll actually add it to this video as well. And just going to the last to the Biko Pegasus video, it does says here that never got power to Mamo cross, so it didn't get yeeted. It's just you commented way later when it was already like half a day. A little over half a day since I recorded. That's all it was, so that's why I didn't make it in the video. But since never got power to Mamo Cross, only had 0 LB, and Tucker needed 3 LB, which I just wanted to check here. Yeah, it says here, -3, 3 copies in 400. So that makes sense. That makes sense. I was making most of my island era Uma with Power Ardent or Power Nishino. The lost in power card was made up with gaining the rental slot. And I did well for island scenario. And then it was actually Chronogenesis, S4 City, Still in Love, Buena Vista, and Almond Eye. Oh. So I think when I met, I think the 3 I said was for sure S4 City. And I think I got everyone else wrong. Well, I think maybe not Almond Eye. Actually, I don't even think I mentioned Almond Eye. I don't even know who I said besides S4 City now. Oh well. Oh well, but thank you Tanoki for all the comments. Appreciate it as always. Yeah. The reason why I didn't go over the other 2 comments yesterday is because it was literally you literally commented like half a day later after I recorded. And if anything, that was like 7 hours later. 7, 8 hours later from when I posted the video. Or the video yesterday. So yeah, that's why I didn't make it to yesterday's video. That's what you were wondering about the power to Mamo. But other than that, the rest of the comments. Oh, I did see one with a lot of replies. But the rest of the comments is going to be from Nova, starting off with, ah yes, the UmaMusume wanted. The UmaMusume wanted? Bakushin, yes. He did really... he did want this. This is that Bakushin like every time. Every time I used this Bakushin, he had the same thing to say, and it was envy, envy, envy. Goal for today: finish Zenless story and some Wuwa exploration, and field still being left untouched. And then NTE is just vibing. Mongo is just in the background tempting me. Zenless, obviously you saw that I posted it yesterday, a little after the Promea banner pulls. Wuwa, I wouldn't say I explored, but I haven't really done anything in Wuwa besides the story, if I'm gonna be honest. Enfield, pretty much just chilling at the moment. I haven't really touched any of the events that popped up since Fang Yi got released, so it is what it is. And after, I haven't really done anything since touching the story. I'm kind of in the same situation as Wuwa. And NTE is the one I've been focusing on out of the games you mentioned. Yeah, Zenless is not getting focused on right now because I did just play the story. I did just play the story. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be doing anything in Zenless anytime soon. Even the events, I'll probably wait like another week before I start doing it. So I think I'm good for the rest of this week. I think I'm gonna wait until like next weekend to do the events in Zenless. Probably the same thing with Wuwa. Or technically I could start this week with Wuwa. I don't know what would be better. I don't know what would be better. Did my Promea pulls, and let's just say they. Why is they? I don't think they is supposed to be there. So I'm gonna remove they and see how it sounds. Did my Promea pulls, and let's just say my backup Benjamin came in handy. Yeah, they. I don't know why they is there. I'm probably gonna go ham again at 3.0. The 3.0 banner should be Norma and Velina was her name? I think. At least that's the assumption I'm getting, since if you played the story, then you probably know what I was probably gonna say. If you played the story. And yeah, since it's recent, I'm not gonna dare talk about it unless Nova mentions it in the comment. But I'll be very limited on my responses on the Zenless story, just in case. Don't want to spoil the story too much or at all. I think it's similar to what happened with 1.0 in Zenless, the last patch of 1.0. 1.0. 1.0 version gave us Vivian and Hugo. Vivian happened to be the first agent as well. So I did pull there and then save. If this is the pattern for 3.0, then I know that I can't escape my fate. I'm gonna say based on the story, there's definitely characters I'm gonna be pulling for. And based off how Zenless has gone, there are definitely and I guess based off what you said, Novo, that Sunbringer was gonna be playable, which I can see why now. But you can see that Zenless has been going along the lines of their releasing a Void Hunter, or at least a person as strong as a Void Hunter, because that's what they did with Yi Xuan before they released Xiao Guang. I want to say more, but I can't. I don't know if I should, but I won't. So I'm gonna keep going, cause I don't know how much more comments there are. I just know there's a good decent amount, and we're already way past half the training. Are you pulling the lolly? I don't know if I'll do that, since the lolly might be mega meta, but the design is like meh. Who is she again? Velima was the other one. Who is she? Norma, was it? I think it was Norma. Yeah, I don't know if I want to pull for her. I don't know if I'm gonna pull for her. Like, pulling for the angels were different. I'm not getting the same vibes. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I'm not getting the same vibes. So I probably won't end up pulling for Normal. We'll see what she does, or how her fighting style is, or whatever, before I say anything else, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll just wait the next month and a half or something like that. We should do a fairy element like Pokemon. Also, water is kind of meh. We like ice like Hyuki. I mean, ice is pretty much there. I'm just saying, water is pretty based. Or like basic, I guess I should say. But I guess they do tend to go to ice more. But who knows? They could add water. They could add water. Another controversy about AI usage in NTE. What is there to be surprised about? All gachas will have AI sooner or later. That is true. Hex Soul Anime. That is true. That is true. Just embrace it. You don't see anybody salty about having smartphones. I don't think there was any like I don't think there was any like beef or saltiness. Like there was like the whole Apple versus Android thing, but that was pretty much it. Because it was just the evolution of the cell phone, you know, going from like a Motorola Razr to like an iPhone or something like that, or I don't know, BlackBerry, T-Mobile Sidekick. I felt like I had this topic mentioned already before, but yeah, I don't think it's in the same tier as that in a way. At least it doesn't feel like it is. Doesn't feel like it is. At least the smartphones one. Because at least with my whole like car enthusiast one with the whole electric cars one, it did really, they really they're really screwing over the car enthusiasts with how car companies are starting to release cars off the lot or sell cars off the lot. Like I said, making it harder to modify or whatever. Or tune. Or like, yeah, even before, even if without the whole electric cars thing, even for like car car parts before used to be not as expensive as before as well, as of most things, but for like certain, like even old car parts that used to be like in the hundreds are now like in the thousands and all that. So yeah, I'd say that'd be a better comparison because with smartphones also, because with the way we're talking about AI and NT or AI in general, we're kind of talking about it more in a negative outlook because of what it's doing to like computer parts and all that. Computer AI doing to computer parts or anime, games. and all that, where smartphones didn't really have a negative effect, at least not that I know of growing up. All I know is that over the years, the phones started getting bigger and bigger again. Yes, I say again because there were brick phones. If you had a Nokia, you would know. I think they're still around. Nokia, I think. I don't know if they are, but yeah, smartphones have been pretty much positive along the way, even up to this point. I mean, it's just become pretty standard, which eventually AI will. I just don't think smartphones had the same like negative start to it, I guess. But guess I'm still at the prologue at NTE. I guess Shushu progress is the same as me when we're both starting Enfield. I was ahead of you back then. I guess so. You were ahead of me in you were ahead of me in Enfield, and then right now I'm ahead of you in NTE. So we kind of swapped there. But I'm also say it's all probably also because you are also in Taiwan still. Or are you back? Are you back? I just realized that. Are you are you back? Just looking at the date now. I feel like you should be back by now. Because I don't even remember you saying that you came back or whatever. Oh well. I guess we'll figure it out tomorrow in tomorrow's video. Don't know if you know this, Shushu, but NTE has one limited time event that I saw. I'm not sure if the format in NTE is the same as the other gotchas, but does it require daily tasks completed? I'm talking about the event that gives you like a car and a character and a character skin as a reward. That might be a pulling event connected to the Nanoli or Ninoli? Nanoli banner? The limited banner character? You should, because if you look at the event, it the button leads you to the fair, which is the gotcha button or the gotcha page, I guess, and it's basically telling you to pull. That's all it is. So unless you're gonna pull for her, you're not really gonna get the event items from that event. Or if you or if you get her if you get her before the first um event reward, I guess. But it's only if you pull from from my understanding. So for me, it don't matter. It don't even matter because I ain't pulling. I ain't pulling. It's like I said, I am pretty much saving as much as I can before the next phase, just in case. Just in case Hotori is getting released. Cause usually by now, in like most of the other games, by now, I totally would have already done at least one whole rotation in the standard gotcha, I think. I think so. But we'll see. I do need like less than 20 before I get the guaranteed, but eh. There's this one scene in the Wuwa story where the rover response was, "It is an adult's responsibility to protect these students." And I was like, BA Sensei line? Word for word? That's crazy. I wouldn't know. I didn't play. Well, I did play Blue Archive, but a very short amount of time. And I wouldn't remember that line. Especially if it was from a long time ago. Unless it really, like, stuck to me, I guess. Is Enfield, like, lacking in content then? Not sure how I feel about the factory now. It was fun in the first month, but it's not as fun as driving through the city. Yes, I would say Enfield is probably lacking in content. But safe to say that it is still new. But compared to like Zenless having, I mean, Zenless throughout the week, unless you're doing the events or playing side quests and all that, you're pretty much doing nothing also, unless you're like me and just waiting for Friday to just do the updated shield defense or deadly assault. I mean, it's the same thing in WUA. Unless you're doing events, are you actually doing something in the game? Are you running around? Have you finished running around? If you care about your exploration quests, you know, there's still things to do. We all definitely have things to do, but it's whether or not we choose to do it. Because yeah, I could say Enfield is lacking in content in comparison to the Hoyo games and WUA. But there are side missions that I didn't do. So is it really lacking in content? I could still be doing more things in Enfield, but at the same time, I probably could have been done, but with the side missions by now if I had done it. So it's hard to say, really. It's hard to say. As for the factory thing, I still think it's fun, but I feel like once you get it set up, there's nothing really more you can do to about it. It just becomes part of the background. Honestly speaking. Also, gotta prepare for Ananta coming shoo. I'll be locking in on the big four right now. Jet lag is kicking my buns, but I need to hurry up my progress. Okay, so I'm gonna assume since you said jet lag, I'm gonna assume you're back now. Since you mentioned jet lag. That's just my assumption. Because I was like, wait a second. Shouldn't he be back by now? But based off that comment, I'm gonna assume you're back. Oops. Zenless side missions can be solved with a quick skip button. Other gotchas should have that, to be honest. Honestly, I don't think I've utilized that. I don't think I've utilized that feature now that you're mentioning it. Huh, I think I'll log in Zenless later and check it out. So Noki is officially the anti-lucky mustard king. In comparison to you, you definitely make it look that way. Tanoki responded saying, "My luck hasn't been great for supports. I just happen to plan myself around slightly below averages. Even then, Zero Forever Young's really dug into my rainbow shards and safety margin there. I wouldn't survive 2 banners like that in a row." Yeah, that one was really brutal compared to how Nova normally is in pulling for supports. I don't think this is the first. I don't think this is the only response. So I'm gonna keep going with Nova's comments. I did leave my 170 pulls for Admire Groove there to be converted to Clover. Getting an Uma to 5 stars is kind of meh. It's just a stat gain and an ult rank up, but I don't think it does much other than that. Yeah, I don't think it does much besides raising your ult and stats, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they've made any changes to that. I don't think so. But I'd probably still just get the duper, if anything. That's just me, though. That's just me. There's an ongoing event in WUA where you get more currency if you pull for more on banners. So I'm losing out on buying from that shop if I get lucky. Oh. I don't know which one that is. I'll just look around WUA whenever I log in WUA. Yep, that will be the case. I'll just look around whenever I'm in WUA. Stir skill for 71. And then we're gonna sit for a bit because there's still comments for me to go over. All right, Sagrika. I totally forgot she was playable. Man, her and Luke just gets forgotten in my head. I mean, I know they're there, but it's not like I've completely forgotten them. For me, the most part, I'll forget their name, but I'll know how they look like and describe how they look. Other than that, I'm a mid-key giant squid. I'm gonna just say it. I don't know what this relates to anything I said yesterday. Nothing I can't remember what I said yesterday that could relate to whatever you just said here with being a mid-key giant squid. So I'm gonna let you explain that in the comments. Let's just hope GFL sticks to the Gooner stuff for my sake. Story can be good too. Well, if it's more than 3k for 10 pulls, then I'm just gonna say it's time to swipe hard. I mean, even I think 2,500 is a bit brutal, but it also depends on how much currency they give in return, as in how much more content they're planning to release for the players to give them, something to recuperate with, or refresh their stash with, the free-to-play players at least. Oh, this is the long replies. All right, let's see if I can go through this real quick, and then there's a few more comments after that. First is the comment from Nova. Free-to-plays are just a different breed of humans from my perspective. Some of the raunchier ones expect to get everything from the devs when they offer nothing to begin with. I think I mentioned that yesterday, where I said like, I mentioned it with like people in the Hoyo community, probably most likely free-to-play players. Or like majority of the people that complain in these toxic gaming communities are probably like free-to-play players who literally just wants more than honestly they probably deserve. If I'm gonna be honest. So yeah. Tanoki responded saying, honestly, I scoff at the crowd from the new gen gachas. I categorically reject every notion that seems to float around that it's impossible to free to play this game without resorting to maining a strat or using debuffers. I'm gonna assume that's a Uma focus there. I barely even play global, and my results somehow surpass all these people with a bone to pick with the parent system, which they clearly don't understand. Yeah, this one seems like it's more focused on Uma. I actually personally despise soft or carry over pity. My take is people who think otherwise don't understand how everything can affect everything. A gacha game has to make money. A kinder gacha system means you get taxed elsewhere. That is true. That is true. Soft pity is just an enforced average result, and that sucks. I want it to be possible to take 1 or 200 pulls, not this arbitrarily low rate until the 50-50 mark at like 80 to 100 pulls or whatever. And carryover? Nah, I prefer people who can't save to eat the full tax, and not me. I would say if I were going to compare the 50-50 with carryover pity compared to the 200 no carryover, I'd say my luck over the years of playing gacha games and comparing the two gacha systems, or at least gacha systems related to these two, I'll be honest, my luck has been better with the newer one with the 50-50 carryover. I'll be honest. That's what it feels like, at least. Nova responded back saying, "Can't say I understand the mentality of free-to-plays, but isn't the most common denominator of being free-to-play the fact that they simply can't afford to spend IRL? That's why I say that I know free-to-plays who choose to do that, not because they're poor IRL, but because of something else. For some, it's a good financial judgment to go free-to-play. For others, which I can't comprehend personally, there's a sort of pride or arrogance in going free to play. That is true. There are people who goes free to play just for some, I don't know, just to make themselves feel better or something like that. In my view, the free to play strat depends on which category of people we are talking about. True. I'd be more sympathetic to those who actually are poor IRL and can't spend if they wanted to spend then to seek who than those who seek validation from the internet by saying the words free to play, by the way. True, there's there's two differences in those type of people if we're gonna, or free to play players if we're gonna categorize them. That's why I said I feel like, the people who, what I said earlier. The second group literally has not an iota of positive contribution to the community nor the game as a whole. Yeah, pretty much. Sanoki responded back saying, "In this comment, I'm mostly tackling the perception that a kinder gacha system lends to a kinder game overall. I think it's a complete myth, and I'd rather full unadulterated hard pities. Soft pities are endorsed mediocrity, and carryover pity doesn't sap the life out of people who can't plan enough. A gacha will look to extract an X amount from its player base, and I damn well rather it act in full force against people who don't full pity." I think the quick rule of thumb here is just, if you're gonna pull, pull. If you're not gonna pull, don't pull. None of this like, I'ma just see if I'm gonna pull type video, or whatever, hesitation type, basically. Nova responded saying, "Putting your rationalization aside, the most basic gacha player cares about the feels. If a gacha system is too brutal, the most obvious next course of action is to compare this gacha with another more generous one." AKA me comparing Enfield straight to the Hoyo games and Kuro. I'm sure that there are people who agrees with your take, but like all the things political, people play and enjoy the gacha for the good vibes. Needing 5k for one single 10 pull, that doesn't feel good, hence bad. It'll be bad. It's bad vibes for sure. Because as a free-to-play player, you're just sitting there wondering like, okay, what the heck do I do now with 5k per pull, per 10 pull? But the gotcha system doesn't define the game, of course. I think me and Shushu doesn't have a strong aversion against that. Otherwise, we would have quit any gotcha system that seemed more brutal or harsh. Oh yeah, there are two different things. I don't. It's like what Nova said. I don't define the game off the gotcha, even though it's of course a gotcha game. But will it suck if have I played games where the gotcha system sucks, but I still continued playing? Yes, I have. Eminence's gotcha system, or at least their rates, feels like it sucks really bad. Still playing it, so it's fine. I'll talk crap about it like I am with Enfield, but I'll still play the game. So there's that. Sanoki responded back saying, "What about, or what good about something that feels, huh? Huh?" I'm gonna just read it again. What good about something that feels good but chews you up and grind you down over years? I think it's just a frame of reference, seeing how brutal a no pity era was, and seeing how extra deceptive, generous gotchas more than claw that value back over time. Hard pity for me feels like a rational medium, and for all of Uma's faults, the power creep is manageable. Feeling good and vibes over perception over reality is a compelling argument, but I think it's a valid short term. But long terms, it's reality that will shine through. Surface level bad vibes makes people complain and moan online. Deeper structural realities makes people slowly play less and less, wondering why they don't find the game fun anymore before quitting. Let me put it this way, using myself as an example. For all the gotcha games I play, I rarely have anything to say bad about them. And therefore, my enjoyment has been perfectly fine throughout the time I've been playing them. If you're negative towards the game, you ain't gonna have fun playing the game. And that's when the feels are gone. So yeah. Nova responded saying, short term versus long term, huh? I think there is more subjectivity to that statement. Granted, this is just my personal experience over the years as a gacha player, but you do need to have feels both in the short term and the long term. That is true. Like there are gachas that made me feel good in the beginning, but I have come close to lose that enjoyment over time. Yep. It isn't because of any predatory tactics or anything of the sort, because objectively speaking, that one gacha had one of the best gacha systems and quality of life of all time. No, I left because of the attachment to the gacha itself. Like when you find yourself stop logging in, doing dailies, or even worrying about gacha pulls, then that is when the feels are gone. That is true. If you don't even log in, which is probably the most basic thing to do. It's like the first thing that happens. You literally log in the game. First thing you see is your dailies or your login rewards or whatever. If you don't even do that, nowhere. Just Tanoki says, well, yeah, of course, it's more subjective than that. We're discussing degrees of differences between them, but there's no way to do that without establishing a more or less to illustrate the point. Reality is, if we're discussing the gacha genre in general, they really are kinda within one standard deviation of predatory from each other. I just think the fundamental tension is how predatory and how quickly they can be while maintaining that level of sustainability. I just think soft pity and carryover pity is the guy that hands you a $2 note to make you let your guard down, then mugs you later. You're gonna have to be more specific with your gacha game with the best gacha system, though. It's kind of sounding like the I fell out of love because actually I love it too much copium. Because honestly, it sounds closer to proving my point than yours. I don't know what game he's talking about either. And then Nova, this is the last of the thread of replies in this specific comment. If you guys are following along so far. Not sure how you would define better gacha, but for me, it's just a matter of you got a good pity system, including soft pity, and obviously enough devs compensation and income to pull for every new character without spending a single cent. Okay, I just had to read that in my head like 2 more times. But your perspective has always been that gacha games are predatory, and I can't disagree with that. Yet we won't be on the same side 100%, just because that's how gacha should be. If you really don't want to partake in anything predatory, then do consider playing other non-gacha games, of course. I don't know if what you feel about gacha is the same way I feel about people cheating. But I'm getting that kind of strong sentiment from you that is a matter of principle for you. That's not a bad thing, of course, but I just want to understand where this strong sentiment is coming from exactly. For me, I don't know. It's kind of weird to... Isn't it kind of weird to call a gacha game predatory? Knowing well that you're basically gambling. Isn't that already like red flags for like, oh, gambling signs, you know? At least signs of gambling. If you so choose to not be free to play. Especially. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that should have been a noticeable thing about gacha games is they are predatory because they're trying to get your money. If money's involved, they're gonna want your money, unlike non-gacha games like your AAA games or whatever, where all you need to do is buy it once and that's it. Unless you want to buy DLC. Unless you want to buy DLC. So I don't know. I don't know about this whole predatory thing because my experience between the two different gacha systems we're talking about, the 200 pity no or 200 pity no carryover, no 50/50, and then the more common one now with the having the 50/50 I guess hard pity, soft pity. Soft pity starts like at 70 something or 80 or depending on the game, obviously. It'll start at a different number. And then the 50/50. Oh, it's like I said. Personally, I feel like my luck has been better towards the newer gacha. The newer gacha system. So that's just me going by off experience because I've had many bad experiences with the 200 no pities. So that's all I can say. That is all I can say. As for the short term, long term, what do I want to say about that? I agree with Noe. It's got to go both ways. It can't just be short term vibes and long term vibes. Because midway you could just be like, well, what do I do now? For me, short term is more like, will I will I like this game enough to keep playing this game into the long term? That's how short term is. Kind of like Nova's 6-month time period to test out a game, in a sense. And then if it passes the 6 months test period, I guess, then now you can worry about the long term. That's pretty much how I see it. And then from there, it all depends on the gacha game. I'll keep playing it as long as I keep enjoying it. And if they keep doing what they're doing, I'll keep playing it. If I notice a decline, I'll obviously still play it until I find no more enjoyment in it. Or if they just EOS or something. It's funny that you mentioned the whole cheating thing with you, Nova. Because I feel like the way you're talking to Tanoki more casual than how Tanoki sounds more aggressive towards the whole gacha games being predatory, I guess. Or just this whole topic in general. Is that it was kind of like this with you and me when it came down to you being more aggressive towards the whole cheating thing. And I was the one who was the more casual towards the whole thing. So I kind of get it, or I get it. But thank you, Tanoki, for all the replies. Appreciate it as always. I'm gonna go over the rest of the comments. There's 3 more. Somehow the mech became the sentinel, kinda, and Imeth became the resonator. Well, the plot is pointing that the Grand Architect will create a perfect Threnodian resonator. That does what it looks like. There's also a Vice Architect, apparently. I need to see more Fraxidus's members right now. We most likely will as time goes on. Because we haven't even gotten another member since Cristoforo. I guess technically Grand Architect. Oh no, Grand Architect showed himself in Septimon. Technically Dania, but pick your side, I guess. Yeah, we haven't seen any new Fraxidus members if we're not going to count Dania. So maybe they're saving that for the second half of the 3.x patches, or they're saving it for the new Federation. Who knows? So that happened in Uma. Got to MOB for both power and speed cards before first pity at 170. There's literally no reason to hit pity at this point. This is almost insane luck. It's like I said. It's like I said, your luck is still there in Uma. You're still the lucky mustard. Even if it's just your support cards at this point. But yeah, it's like I said, in comparison to Tanoki, that is like way better, way more, than Tanoki's. And then lastly, from Nova, I just got done with Zenless Lore. Oh, okay. And it was absolute cinema. I'm glad that this is a much better introduction to the next region, with some people complaining that the plot is inconsistent. I thought they were on to something. For the most part, this 2.0 arc was kind of all over the place. The Disciple arc lasted a bit, followed by the Exaltist arc. I think the writing is awfully slow when it comes to plot reveals, but the one thing I appreciate Zenless Lore is that it's consistent with finding out the truth behind Old Eridu, the teacher, and the Proxy twins. I'll admit that I was stunned by many plot dumps throughout this epilogue, but it's just making me hype for the new region. If I were to speculate on how these first gen Void Hunters are still alive after hundreds of years, then ethereal technology must be involved. As for Sunbringer herself, she looks OPAF in the final cinematic. To think that Cecilia and Billy were the Chisa to Rover. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. What I mean is they are the designated characters to follow for the protagonist to the next region. Are they? Let's hope they get more relevance than Chisa did. If it were me, I would replace Billy for Vivian. I think she deserves more recognition. Wait, you think... You think Chiso... You think Cecilia and Billy's gonna follow Bella and Wise to Rose Caliver? And why would Chisa follow Rover? Chisa's staying for school. What are you talking about? I'm not really gonna go too much into detail about this, or into my response to this comment, but yeah, there was a lot of plot dumps. I agree with that. And what I can say with Zenless story is that, just like you said, they're consistent with about the whole old Erdu, their teacher, and the siblings. How no matter what direction the story turns, it still revolves around old Eridu, the teacher, and the siblings. Whether if it was in the 1.x patches or the 2.x patches, or in the different arcs throughout the patches, it still involve one or multiple, or all three of them, if anything. So there are points in the story, I will agree, where they do kind of go, is it off topic, out of hand. But but they still find their way to still narrow it down back to the siblings, the teacher, or old Eridu, you know? So I think Zenless did well. Do well in that part where even though they may get lost, they still find their way back eventually. So yeah. But with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it for the comments. Thank you, Nova and Tanogi, for the comments. This video is already longer than yesterday's, at over an hour 10 already. So let's just get this ended, and I can get started with recording global, and then I get these videos uploaded. Oh, and also get the IMF after story up. Should also do that. But we got a UA4. It is what it is. It is a UA4. It is what it is. We ended off with 2201. I think that's my first 2200 speed, but 2201 speed, 655 stamina. That's the lower end that I would want it to be. Like really low, because I don't have any stamina recovery skills. 1590 power, 1642 guts, and 1508 on wise with no S aptitude. So But with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did make it this far, I do want to say thank you. If you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you guys are doing with your prep for the League of Heroes. Let me know who you guys are thinking about bringing to the League of Heroes. And if there's anything else you want to talk about or ask me, just leave it down in the comment section down below. As long as appropriate, I'll go over it. And if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below. So with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you once again. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.